Dream Across This Mortal Coil by Duke Drosty. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death what dreams may come, when we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time? Hamlet, William Shakespeare. Chapter 1. Prairie Dog Style. My scream shattered this reality, waking me. I found myself sprawled across the floor, a nightmare inside a nightmare. The last one, a snake, devoured me. I looked around the room as I pulled myself up. Everything appeared as I remembered from last night. An unfinished energy drink that miserably failed to keep me awake anchored the homework strewn across my desk. Stuffed animals stared with dull eyes as I scanned the room for anything unreal. How could I be sure that I was truly awake and not buried inside another dream? A vision bubbled up from those nested Russian dolls, fitting one inside the other. How many dolls deep am I? The dream was so real, the second one more than the first. Trembling, I crept toward the bedroom door. What would be the next nightmare to visit? A booming sound of someone running down the hall pounded louder, approaching my door. I braced for the new level to reveal itself. The door flew open and Dad stood there with his eyes bugged out, breathing hard. "What's going on in here?" he shouted. His face softened when he saw beads of sweat pouring into my already soaked pajamas. "Lucinda, are you okay?" This was real, and I melted into tears. "Oh, Dad!" I leaped into his arms. As I cried into his T-shirt, he hugged me and softly patted my back. His huge hands felt like soft pillows as they comforted me. It was so real. Once I calmed down, Dad let go and took a step back, but held my shoulders. What was real? He knew the answer, but felt compelled to ask anyway. I'm in a dark tunnel, then I'm falling into a snake pit. Next, a big one tried to eat me. He looked down, knitted his brow in thought, and sighed, staring into my sweat and tear-stained face. Was he clueless? I can't wake up. Dad squeezed my shoulders and let go. Don't worry. I'm here now. But I'm alone in these nightmares. He remained quiet a moment. Look, it's almost 6, and we're not going to get any more sleep. Why don't I make you some of my world-famous pancakes? Okay, I whispered. You get ready while I make breakfast. He gave me one more reassuring hug and left for the kitchen. I stood for a few moments, unsure of what to believe. Entering the bathroom, I flipped on the light. My hair was a red, matted mess, and I was sure that this is what someone looked like after wrestling a giant anaconda. I warmed the shower, undressed, and slipped into the flow. I let the water run over me for several minutes, and could have stood there an hour if the hot water had held. In the kitchen, Dad poured his world-famous pancake batter from the blender into a frying pan. A packet of pancake mix, 2 broken eggs, and an open milk jug lay on the counter. My father's default meal was pancakes. He stood with a spatula in one hand and the other on his hip, leaning against the stovetop, watching the cakes bubble up enough to flip. He brought 2 plates to the kitchen table. My appetite was uncertain, but after the first couple of bites, my stomach took over. I washed the pancakes down with a large glass of milk. Dad ate, but kept a worried eye. I caught his stare one too many times, so I returned it. What, Dad? Dad flinched at being caught. What? He mumbled. Why are you giving me that what am I going to do with you look? Luce, this whole summer, with these dreams, it's scaring the bejesus out of me. You sound like... Like who? I knew the answer, but I wanted him to spit it out. He never does. Like some creepy Stephen King story with monsters and ghouls and stuff. I rolled my eyes. More silence passed. Dad doesn't like conflict, so he changed the subject. How was your first week at school? Fine. About a month away from getting your driver's license. Bet you can't wait to drive solo. I felt him searching for a subject that would engage me. Yeah, that would be nice, but you'd still be in the passenger seat because we only got one car. Dad knowingly cocked his head and said, Maybe yes, maybe no. You mean you're going to get me a car? Like I said, maybe yes, maybe no. He loved to play these games, so I played along as the frustrated daughter. Come on, Dad, tell me. For real, I said, leaning forward. Are we going to get a second car or not? Let's see what the magic 8-ball has to say. He reached for something imaginary, raised it to his ear, and pretended to shake it vigorously with his tongue slightly out. Pulling his cupped hand back down to his chest, he imagined a triangular answer rising from the murky depths. He squinted as if hard to read. It says, Huh. Can't make out the answer. Can you get my reading glasses? I laughed. Dad, stop. You're being mean. There, he said, pointing to my smile. That's what I wanted to see. Don't worry, I got this handled. An uncomfortable pause, and then he spoke again. Why didn't that boy show up in your dream? I don't know. Some friend he is. Scene break.